up, y'all? And welcome to Keeping It Real with MillyMil. Today we have a very special guest in house. This is one of my Ace Boone coons. We go all the way back to grade school, like 7th grade. She was my hustler in high school, and she's still a hustler today. She's going to be talking to you guys about how she built her financial stability as well as her kids' financial stability, and give you guys some pointers on what you need to do. Plus, you can sign up with a group that she's working for to help build your own financial stability and wealth. So you guys welcome lbrent to the room. Hey, so Latoya, go ahead and introduce yourself and let the people know who you are.
I am Latoya Brent. I am a mother of three beautiful daughters. I reside in Washington, D.C. with my beautiful babies and our dog named Cooper, who's a miniature poodle, who feels like he's human.
Right.
As you know, I've known Jamil for lots of decades. We go way back. I've always been savvy when it comes to money, financially smart. My savviness kicked in a little bit more over time as, life changed. I had a significant loss of a husband. And I, always decided to make financially savvy decisions, in order to grow, my family's, as we say, continued generational wealth, or prepare them for,
Correct.
whatever they're going to conquer when they become 18. Um, I have been a serial entrepreneur since we were kids. We can say that.
Definitely.
I just think of
Both of us,
all
actually.
the things. I mean, even as class president, I just remember, like,
Right.
you remember how we used to go see like Blossom tapes or like Fresh Prince tapes and things like that.
Tapings,
Tapings, and
yeah. And we would get
we
paid
would
for
get
that.
paid, like they would pay us $500, and we would charge everybody like
Yes.
$25 to go, and that would pay the money
Yep.
for our bus, because we had to buy a bus. And then we would be in Hollywood, and like they would go to McDonald's on Hollywood Boulevard. It was like a thing back in the like
Right.
90s. You couldn't
It,
tell us
it really
nothing.
was.
They did not know, so we was hustling then.
Y'all don't, who didn't grow up in California, you guys don't know about getting paid to be on shows.
TV
That was
shows.
like, if you didn't have a job, that was a hustle.
It was a straight
Definitely.
hustle. So it was always amazing. But even now, as an adult, I've been a serial entrepreneur. I think that probably the most recent project that I've worked on is doing financial literacy and life insurance products, because I think that so many
Yeah,
of us do not have our finances together. And,
we
unless
don't.
you have like a life-changing situation, it gears you, and people are like, oh, I don't need
Yeah,
insurance.
yeah,
I don't need this stuff right now. You do need it, because you never know when life
yeah.
is going to happen. I'm a prime example. My husband died at 37 years old of a cardiomyopathy, which is a heart attack. At the time, we had
Yeah,
small children, not even over the age of 5 years old. And certain things
correct.
were in place, certain things weren't in place. And over time, I realized, I said, I've seen the story of so many families, if they lose a spouse, they lose someone, they're struggling. The struggle is real.
Yeah,
Something happens, their
it is
life
real.
stops, financially, um, you know, things are not going to look the same after one person passes away.
Correct.
And not just have to be that, but it's just like, even if at your job, you leave your job,
Correct.
all your benefits are with your job. You don't have your job anymore. You're laid off. You don't have that life insurance anymore. You don't have that 401k. What's your next
Correct.
plan? And it's not
Yeah.
just to say how you endure that, but I've also, have turned my girls into entrepreneurs as well. Both of my daughters are children's authors, so
Yeah.
they
Oh, wow.
they sell books, they sell t-shirts and
Mm-hmm.
things, accessories. So I've taught them the importance of, you can have a bad experience at school, some kid can make fun of you, do whatever. Turn that bad
Yeah.
experience into a story and let
Yeah.
others
And
hear
and
it.
I think that helps them as a young child, is especially learning like how to make their own money, how to hustle for, like, for the majority of us, nothing is given to us. A lot of us don't have anything left over from a generation or two before us. So, I know with your mom and then mine as well, they always gave us that hustler mentality, but also have a plan B, C, and D. You
Yep.
know what I mean? And, never put all your eggs in one basket. So that way, if anything comes about, you can still have something to pull on. Like even it's a joke between my mom and Rashawn. They're like, Jamel got money somewhere. And I just put it in multiple accounts, and if it's not something I'm seeing, then it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another way that I've been able to save money and have it in different areas. So that way I won't just spend the money. And then say, for instance, like money with bills. And one way I'm savvy is about it. And I learned this when the cable company hit my card twice, and told me I had to wait 14 days to get 300 and some dollars back. And I'm like, it took y'all 2 seconds to take it. So now I have a separate checking account that only bills are tied to that account. So nothing else can come out of my checking account, or nothing can come out of my savings accounts. Plus, I have them in different areas and banks. So
And that's very important to
mm,
diversify and multiply. And as you're
yeah,
doing that, even if you have side hustles, say, I'm going to take this check and this is going to go exclusively in that account. Or this week,
hmm,
I'm not going to Starbucks. I'm gonna make my coffee
yeah,
and I'm gonna save that. What is it? $7 grande for the whole week, and
hmm,
I'm gonna see that stack up
hmm,
because I'm putting that towards an investment, or that's the money for my trip. So I think it's just knowing
and
that how we how we view money and how money works for us.
correct,
And I mean, because we know
correct.
it's a season where people are about to go spend a lot of money to make a
Hmm.
feel good season.
For what?
Correct.
For what? You know what I mean? And that to me, we stopped it a long time ago in our family, spending all this money on gifts because it was just a waste of money. 6 months down the line, you may or may not still have the gift. Someone spent all this money. So, like my brothers and I, we just pick a day and we have our Brother's Day. I definitely get something from my mom, but it's still nothing big. It's more of the family thing. And then when the whole family gets together, we have my mom has this like play money that she gives everybody as they come in the door. Then we play games. Everyone has to bring a $25 gift. We play games, you get more money. At the end of all the games, she auctions off the prizes. So it's like you're still getting something, you're still building a memory with your family, but you're not going into debt to do
Right.
it.
And that's the
you
biggest thing.
know?
So many people burden
Hmm.
themselves that are already in debt already,
Yeah.
just to go out. Well, the kids want to no, the kids don't know. And it's all
They don't.
about an experience. Like you can just go and take your kids to the movies and have a magical good
Hmm.
time, and they're not going to think about all of those toys. And I think it's
Hmm.
just the stigma of like what society has tainted and has created, that we have to go and
Yeah.
spend thousands of dollars, and you're already in debt. And I think, just kind of seeing, going back to the shift of the financial literacy and knowing how money works for you,
Hmm.
all it takes is a
Hmm.
little. It just takes a little. And people are like, oh, no,
Yeah.
I don't have it. Yes, you do. Just think, if you need a policy or an annuity or something that can grow your wealth over time, especially your kids, if you have young
Hmm.
kids, you can get a whole life policy or IUL policy, something for like under $40 a month, and by the time they're like in their mid 20s, late 30s, whatever, they have at least $20,000 to $50,000, depending on how much money you put in, to pull out. Whether they need to
Yeah.
pay for a house, they need to take a year
Hmm.
off and say, I need a mental health break. Okay, let's be clear, because we
Right.
all got work.
Right.
We all got like,
We've all had.
yeah, we all be like, this it. I'm out.
Uh,
That's it. Here go this
with
notice.
this last gig, it was about to be one of those times where I was like, Lord, it's me and you. I'm gonna have to step out on faith because
Faith,
I can't. I'm not.
faith,
I'm not gonna do it.
faith.
You know what I mean? I've been through too much, and I know my worth. So
Yep.
I'm not gonna just take anything from anyone, just because I need a paycheck.
Right.
You know, I don't put myself in that predicament anymore.
And I think too, you made a very good point. Like, we are,
Hmm.
even though I'm 35 forever in a day,
Hmm.
we
Right.
have aged a little bit, and where we are getting older, where certain things that
Hmm.
we would just be like, okay, I gotta suck this up. No, I ain't doing it.
Hmm.
I'm
No,
not doing
you're
it.
not.
I'm not apologizing for it, and
No.
your time is a value. Like, either it is, it's just, your worth at this age. And I think that a lot of
Correct.
times I think just as a race, as a culture, We
Mm-hmm.
downplay it because we're like, oh, we have to be
We
the
do.
better one. We have to be this. No, we don't. We don't
No,
have to suffer
no.
in silence. If you know that you are worth X, Y, and Z, and that your
Right.
portfolio or you want this, then don't suffer in silence. Continue to move.
Correct.
Like as I say, like some of our friends that we've known forever, they still waiting on that
Right.
perfect man or perfect what and they say, I'm just gonna
Right.
wait. So you can wait it out just like that.
Exactly.
Wait that
But
vision
see,
out.
what the thing is too, it's like, let me rewind it back. So before I moved to Chicago, everyone was like, why are you moving to Chicago? Why are you moving to Chicago? And I was like, because it's cheaper to buy a property in Chicago than it is in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of people have that look like, yeah, right, you ain't gonna do it. You know what I mean? And it was just a lot of naysayers, which was ridiculous. But I was like, I can show you better than I can tell you. And then at that time, that's when I really started to get savvy. And like one thing I've learned, if you're paying a bill over and over again that can be paid off, like a car note or your cell phone that you're purchasing through your, carrier, um, when you no longer have to pay that extra money, I started paying that to myself, to my savings account, because I was like, if I was paying it to them, I could pay it to myself,
Right.
you know. And then that sets you up because I haven't really too much gotten to investing, and I know we've talked about this some. I had some not so good things that happened when I attempted to do it. So it's kind of like I'll just pay myself for
Right.
now. But I know we've talked about it, and you know, it, the company that you're working for to do that is very great. I've looked them up. I don't know if you want to touch on that some and let the people know about that too, because you guys, it really is a fantastic way to build your wealth for you, not just yourself and your family. When a lot of us don't realize if you were born, you're gonna die. It's just the way the world goes. It's life, and it's sad when I see families out there having to have car washes and um, fundraisers just to bury someone, but the bills are still coming, and they don't. They lost that second income, so now it's just one income. So that really puts a detriment on the family as well, as where you could have planned for this before it happened, and the money that you spent on these Jordans you could have spent on protecting your family, protecting what you've built, protecting their assets and your assets that you got. So do you want to go ahead and speak a little bit on
Yeah,
that?
so I am actually an independent contractor with World System Builder. So we do a variety of financial literacy products from life insurance, annuities, 401ks, long-term healthcare
Mhm,
policies. And again, the reason why I joined into this is because, my own
mhm,
personal story. But I also, in my other life, I work with small businesses and train, coach,
mhm,
and help businesses, more so disadvantaged businesses. And what I noticed is
mhm,
that a lot of our businesses that were of minority business did not have their paperwork, did not have their items together. So, for
mhm,
example, disability insurance, if something happens to you,
mhm,
your business can still carry on and you can get a
mhm,
disability insurance. So for me, it was important to not only educate in the life and annuity and
mhm,
401k, but also on the arena
mhm.
of like, businesses that don't have their proper financials in place and they have people working for them. And so
Correct.
I just think that it just takes a little, it does not take a
Mhm,
lot to do things,
mhm,
so it's all about how you plan. Like I just said too, in the prior conversation, if you can go to Starbucks every day and spend $7, that could be a policy for
yeah,
you. That's it right there. That's an
exactly,
investment.
exactly.
Or if you happy
And
hour,
where
let's talk about
go
happy hour. Happy hour is expensive.
right.
And going out to dinner,
Yeah, they don't have those little $2 and $3 drinks they used to have back when we started
oh
going to
my
happy
goodness.
hour.
That was like no, was that the 90s or early 2000s?
90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, so not to say my real age, but I'm just,
Right. But not to say like you guys, not saying you guys can have fun, but I think with us getting to the age that we're at now, we understand more so what's important. We've experienced a lot, we've done a lot. The club is always going to be the club. I don't have
absolutely
to
do.
go. If you guys want to drink, go buy a bottle. You don't have to go to a bar and spend what you spend on a bottle at the bar on two drinks. Then you can be at home and have however many you want, plus safer because you don't have to
And
drive.
you don't need a table.
Um, right, and that money you can invest in yourself. You can build your own financial wealth. Damien and I were talking, and my mom, and we're actually going to meet about this because we have been collectively trying to start a family business. And like my mom has her shop now, which is doing very well. Um, but still, it's not how we want it. So he looked into some things and was saying, well, let's go ahead and buy a business that's already making a profit and up and running. And two of the businesses he was talking about, I know is passive income, and you're going to make money, just it being a business. But then the third one that he spoke of was, let's buy an accounting firm. He was like, because we're going to need an accountant for the business, so why not own one and not have to pay? And then a lot of the funding to actually purchase the business you can get through the Better Business Bureau. So yeah, so we're meeting and kind of laying out the groundwork for that. But saying that to say this, us, especially as Black people, we want a business, we want to do something. For one, you have to look at businesses that can make money. There's different ways. You don't need a ton of money all the time to make a decent amount of money. That's one. Find something that you can passively run. Two, what I've learned, you have to run it correctly. You can't have a fried chicken business and be out of chicken. I'm sorry. And we've all been to that place where, oh, we ain't have no more chicken. Like, you a chicken place. And then at the same time, you have to get your paperwork right because Uncle Sam is going to come at you first.
Yep. And that's another
And
thing.
not just,
Yep.
go ahead.
No, you're right.
Hmm.
And I said that that's
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that I work with all the time. So like you can reach
Yeah.
out to
Yeah.
me like
Will
I've
do.
coached and trained businesses. That is my strength. I
Hmm.
taught entrepreneurship
Hmm.
on a
Hmm.
collegiate level. So I think going back, we don't have our stuff in order when we start, and we don't realize. And there's so much money out there, depending on your state, your local governments, to assist you in starting your
Hmm.
business. And there's so many
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
resources depending on, like for example, even now, the EV charge stations, like there's so much
Hmm.
funding for businesses that can develop the charge stations because energy efficient is the wave of what what the future is for us. And there's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
much opportunity if you can do that. Or if you just have like some type of global business, there's money for
Hmm.
you to do international business through your state.
Hmm.
There's a grant
Hmm.
for you. Most people don't
Yeah.
know about the STEP grant. It's just so
Wow.
many opportunities. I think that it's like, yeah, I'm gonna start this barbershop. I'm gonna start this. No, no, there's more to it. You can buy the
Yeah.
building, have everyone work for you. Okay? Get your
Exactly.
contract,
Hmm.
have them work for you, set it up the proper way. There's so many
Correct.
different ways that
Correct.
you can kind of build your wealth or your business. And again,
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
educating, like you said, the accountant. A lot of people don't know how money works. They get their first big check
They
from their
don't.
business, and they're like, "Ooh, girl, Chanel did call me." No, Chanel did not call you.
Right.
Louis
Range
Vuitton did
Rover
not
called
call
me.
you. Range
Whoever.
Rover did not call
Right.
you.
Right. No.
No. So there's different opportunities where no one called you. You just need to make sure that the money that you put in there, that could be back in your business.
It could
Invest it
be.
back
Yeah.
into your business.
And I think that it's something that I want to say really got embedded back in I'll even go back to the like 30s, 40s, and 50s with the Black culture, especially, is wearing your wealth. You have to have
Yeah.
the diamonds, you have to have the fur coat, you have to have the big car, to make everybody know that you have it going on. But me being younger, how it was, especially in my 20s. I did like the flashier stuff. First car I bought was a luxury car. Um, then
Yes,
after
it
I got
was.
carjacked and shot for the car, I realized,
Yep.
you know
No,
what?
I'm good.
I really don't need. I don't need this. My Honda drives just as good as this Mercedes.
And
But
I've never
go ahead.
owned a luxury car. I'm
Really?
not into luxury cars because I can't make money off
Yeah.
of it. As soon as it drives away, I'm depreciating. Now if it was a house, you say, hey,
Exactly.
let's buy a house. Absolutely. There's equity in it. I
Mm-hmm.
drive a Honda Pilot for my
Right.
kids.
And it
And
works
we have
just
another
fine.
SUV. Yeah. I'm not into
No.
cars. Like I've never been one to be like, flashy as far as the car
Mm-hmm.
aspect. But I just think, going back to like, and I look at our parents, like my mom with the
Mm-hmm.
healthcare stuff in the 90s and the home care agency, your
Mm-hmm.
mother with the beauty salon,
Mm-hmm.
like it's been there to show us all of
Yeah.
these years
Yeah.
of like the entrepreneur way, the way to how to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And these were two black women in the
Yeah.
90s that were doing things,
Yeah.
and making it
Exactly.
happen, making it pop. And
And
I,
they didn't need, and not knocking anybody, I don't want you to get this. They didn't need any assistance from the government.
right,
They worked long hours. They worked
hours.
hard. Even when it was a point in the mid '90s where in Riverside, um, the hair it
Cooper,
wasn't as profitable.
my dog.
And so I know my mom had to go into LA. She started going to LA 2 days a week to subsidize what she wasn't making in Riverside because you could charge like twice as much in LA, first of all. Second
Facts.
of all, it's more of us in that area for her to work around, but she never limited herself to just African American clients. She's always worked in a multicultural shop and she's always had multicultural clients, which was a blessing to us too, because during those times where it may have been a struggle, you guys, no one would have ever known it, but it was always one of her clients that just out the blue would bless her. And I'm not talking about like $100. I mean, they would give her thousands at a time just for her being her, um, which is not the case for everybody, but that it's that hard struggle that I have to work, I have to make it. It's either sink or swim type mentality is the way we were taught.
Yeah. And again,
Yeah.
we know how to get out there. There's no shame. If I need to go work at Taco Bell, Walmart, whatever it is, it's an
Whatever.
experience for
Yeah.
me. And I'm going to be the
Yeah.
best cashier. I'm going to be the best
Yeah.
bag packer. But there was
Yeah.
none of that. Like, my mother, the same thing. She would commute from Riverside to
Hmm.
Orange County because that's where the
Yeah.
bread and butter was, Lake Forest. So I think
Exactly.
just in general, like some key takeaways I
Hmm.
definitely want to see people take away from this conversation is making sure that
Hmm.
whatever your financial journey is going to be or your goals are, you set
Hmm.
that, you write it down, you make that plan,
Yes.
you focus on it. And you
Hmm.
own into it, whether you say, listen, I know my stuff is a mess, but
Hmm.
this is my goal of how to unmess it. I'm going to start saving
Yeah.
here. I'm going
Yeah.
to start, preparing financially for my kids because, I'm going to
Hmm.
get their policies. And you just never know what's going to happen with your children either,
Hmm.
where you unfortunately may have to have money for them. And again, no one wants to do
Yeah.
a GoFundMe. No one wants to do that.
They
Or if
don't.
you just want to sit down and talk about, hey, I own a business. I am
Hmm.
trying to look at other resources to grow my business or ways to kind of
Yes.
even help my employees. I don't
Hmm.
offer financial literacy or policies, but I would love that.
Hmm.
You can reach out to me. You can contact me, have a conversation.
I was just going to say that. And how can they contact you to get that information and
So
start speaking with you? To.
there's a couple ways you can contact me. I'm pretty easy
Hmm.
to contact. My business umbrella is under myhostmom.com. And you can
Hmm.
reach out to me at info@myhostmom.com. Pretty
Okay.
easy
Perfect.
at Latoria Brent.
Yep. And you guys, it will all be up when the video comes up.
Yeah.
I'll have everything for you. I have all the contacts and stuff for you so that way you can reach out to her because trust me, she definitely knows what she's talking about and has a wealth of knowledge. If you guys want to learn and you're serious about building your financial wealth, not dependent on just a paycheck to paycheck type thing, I think, you know, that's kind of getting old,
It is.
with people living paycheck to paycheck. And it's about time that we start taking stuff for ourselves and start doing better for ourselves instead of wearing the Jordans and wearing the bling and all that kind of stuff, which means nothing, just something for someone to take from you.
And
Um,
they taking jackets now. I don't know about Chicago. They still in sneakers now. So wait,
I know that.
they still in
I
sneakers?
heard they've been stealing the North Faces up there for a
They don't
minute.
steal North Face. They steal
Yeah.
the Canadian Goose, the
Mm-hmm.
what is it, Montclair, and they're still
Mm-hmm.
in designer sneakers.
I don't wear none of it, so
I'm like,
I, and that's the thing for me. I can buy a piece or two from a designer, but I will pair it with something I bought off of Fashion Nova or something I
and I
went
love some
to
Fashion
Swap
Nova.
Meet.
We don't have no
Me and
swap
you
meet.
both.
Remember the swap meet in
I had
LA?
a I missed the
Do you
swap
remember
meet. I
like
had the
yes?
best pair of blue jeans from the swap meet and I cannot find them.
Do
I'm
you
like, when
it's
I go
just
to California for Christmas,
the swap meet used to be like
it
California is so like eclectic with finding things. I remember we were like, oh my gosh,
is.
like going from Riverside to Kershaw. We going to LA?
Right.
Oh,
But you remember in LA, and see, I know they've been redoing Crenshaw, but you remember you'd be able to drive down Crenshaw and you could
yes.
buy furniture. Somebody
Wait,
on the street selling furniture, got shirts, got hair care product. One day this man was selling TVs, and that's when flat screens first came out. I'm like, if I could plug this TV in to make sure it worked, I would buy it.
let me tell you,
Because
it's a Saturday. We be hitting the Shaw, right? Getting
we
Saturday,
had
hitting the Shaw. Okay,
man, the
the
Shaw was
Shaw.
the y'all don't even know. Then Sundays when all the car clubs were out
We
there,
be sneaking from
Boys in the Hood was
Riverside.
right about
Okay, sneaking from Riverside to
right.
go hang out in LA
Look, I don't know how many times I've been in the at the library,
at the library.
and we were in that
We
right.
were at the library doing our homework,
We were
knowing we were gone. We was on what was it, 60 going to LA, like
gone to L.A., Carson, Long Beach. We
Inglewood
were all over the place, y'all. We really
in
were.
high school,
But
16 and 17.
but but it's 16 and 17 in high school. But that taught us, for one, how we didn't want to live.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because I mean, we would go out there and have fun. And being kids from the burbs,
Oh, absolutely.
we've had like we all have family in LA, but at the same time, we was around the hood. So
Yeah, we
we kind
were.
of got firsthand lesson from a different life than what we were used
Absolutely.
to.
I will say this.
You know,
Growing up
hmm
in Riverside was magical. It
it
was a
was.
whole
It really was.
nother people like, how do you describe it? I'm like, well, you saw the movies in the 90s, right? You saw the TV shows. I can't
Right.
describe it no other way. Like
Like we was walking to everybody's house.
it was
Um,
magic.
Bicycles out front. It was magical. When we were able to finally catch the bus and go up to Canyon Crest, we were at. You already lived across the street from
The movies,
the Crest,
but it was
but we would catch
different.
the bus. It was different. We could be out there all night, Friday, Saturday night. Our parents didn't worry about us. They knew where we were. It wasn't any fighting, no shooting. Even in the little hood part of Riverside, I remember I was a freshman,
Oh my god.
and one of my brother's friends, Sam, had graduated, and it was that summer after freshman year, and him and I were walking all the way down University, and I was like, Sam, why are we out here? And we were just sitting there walking and talking and drinking, and I'm like, I'm 15, I ain't supposed to be
I've been
drinking,
doing
and
any
I'm
of
walking
this.
down University with Sam,
But you know what? I can say
but
we grew up, we thought it was hood, we thought it was not safe. Living in a
yeah,
city, I live in Washington, D.C., and my
hmm
daughters barely walk down the street
yeah,
because we are
yeah,
in the city. I mean, and the city is a little different. It's a little different on
it
the East
is,
Coast. And, people are
yeah.
different out here where California is just a whole different vibe.
Yeah,
There's
and
no
they are
scary
more
white
laid back
van.
in
We did have the
California.
scary white vans and the weirdos pull up and say,
Right.
hey, jump in,
They're
but
like,
it was
nah.
just a
It
whole,
was more so, I think it was the perverts that used to just drive around the schools and try to pick up on the younger
yeah,
girls. And, they thought that was so cool. Oh, he grown, he got a car, and not
no,
realizing that's like a pervert. You know,
that's a creep.
it's a whole
Yeah.
grown man. So, but it was like, I would not trade it for anything. And then I loved growing up in Riverside that it was multicultural, so I got to experience a lot of different cultures and a lot of different backgrounds within the the Black community was close knit at the time we were there.
I
You
agree.
know,
I think that
it was very close knit.
I agree. I don't think
So,
I've ever been in
you
a
know,
community that has been
mm-hmm,
close knit. Like, and I live in a predominantly
mm-hmm,
African American city now. You do too. And I'm
mm-hmm.
just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's not the same vibe that I had growing up in
It's
Riverside.
not.
It's not at all.
But it's not the same vibe. But I do have to give it up for the area I live in, Chicago and Oak Park.
Okay.
It's kind of Culver City-ish,
Okay.
but not all the traffic. It's really cool. It's very diverse, very multicultural, and like the people in our condos, everyone is super nice. Like everyone, the dog parents, all know each other. You'll see us congregating outside with our dogs and puppies, and you know what I mean, letting them play and talking. And just like everyone kind of watches out for each other. When we first moved in, the the night that after we moved in, excuse me, Rashawn's car was broken into, and that's when they were breaking into the Kias and Hyundais and stuff like that, and they
Mm,
cracked the steering wheel column, but they didn't steal the car, which we were glad about. And so we had told our one neighbor about that, and her apartment faces the front as well. And so one night she heard somebody messing with someone's car, and she came running up to our apartment, knocking on our door, like, are they trying to steal your car? Trying to steal your car? But to say that's how close knit we are in our little community. So it's a good feeling with that aspect. And then another good thing about it is too, like all my in-laws and everyone, we're all pretty much at one time we were all on the same street, like within blocks from each other. You could walk to each other, but now we're all in the same area. And I mean, you could walk if you really wanted to, but it makes it easy. You know, it's like you have people around you that are close and loving. So I think that's a big deal with communities that I choose to move into now too, because I want that homey feeling. I'm over that hustle and bustle.
right.
You know, it gets ridiculous, but like as we age and as we grow, your priorities definitely shift and change. And that's again why I had to have you on this show, because I know we've grown together. You've seen me come from a little snotty nosed little fat kid to, you know, the man that I am now. And as well as I've seen you grow up from the cross colors to this beautiful
I,
woman that you are now.
of course. Unreal.
With the bun. You remember the bun?
I do. I do. I do.
Oh my God, those are the days. But still, like, you know, it's even though we may not talk every day, we have that type of friendship where we know, for one, if I'm not acting right, you can correct me and vice versa.
Right.
For two, we always gonna, if I have a good piece of information, I'm gonna share it with you. If you have something that's beneficial, you're gonna share it with me. So I really do value that about our friendship, and that it's never wavered or altered in spite of whatever happened, you know?
I know. And that's like how
So
many years we're looking at? That's about
32,
34?
33.
34 years.
Yeah.
I think I met you when I was
Wow.
11.
Because that was like,
So,
that was 91.
yeah,
That had to be 91. Yeah.
91.
Wow. And you know, it's so funny. I just remember going to that summer school, and I, did you go to summer school before
No,
seventh
I
grade?
didn't.
You didn't. Okay.
I
Yeah.
didn't.
So 'cause I kept hearing about you, but I didn't know who you were until school finally started. So I had met not Latoria, Erica, Yeagle, Brona. Well, I already knew Solomon, but Solomon was there. Who else was
You
in
know,
that
I was surprised when I
class?
saw Solomon in the HBO series.
I know. I have. Did you ever watch it? I didn't watch
I
it.
did. It was actually good. I was like, Solomon's an actor?
Eh, yeah, that's what I was
I was
shocked at. I was
like,
like, "Oh, you playing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Okay, okay.
okay, he's an
I ain't mad
actor.
at you.
Okay.
When did you turn an actor? Um, but yeah, no. So I would have never thought meeting them that summer, then meeting you like the beginning of the school year, that we would still be in each other's lives this many years apart.
I
You
know.
know,
I know.
and I think it's just magical, and I think it's just God placed good people in our lives that we would we didn't know we needed, but he knew we needed,
Absolutely.
for whatever reason. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm glad
I
for it, and
think
I'm
going
thankful
back to
for it.
that close knit of our community, I mean, even though I
Hmm.
don't see you all every day, I can pick up and just go right back to where we were.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Exactly. Yeah.
I just
And even though, like, say me and Diego, we had a kind of a issue probably our senior year in high school, but for me now, like, I'm so proud of him with
oh my
everything
gosh,
that
me
he
too.
does. It's just when I just see anybody that I knew that I grew up with and they're achieving their dreams, it gives me joy, and
Absolutely.
I just get so excited for them and happy for them. I've never been a hater. Um, so it's just like if I can support, let me know how to support. And you guys, I'm telling you this because you need to start supporting each other and stop hating each other for no reason. If somebody got more than you, ask them what the hell did they do to get it so you can learn how to do it yourself. Instead of trying to take what they worked hard for and or be jealous because they have something you don't have, but you don't know what they did to get that.
And let me tell
Sorry,
you,
I had to go a little lesson.
most people, what they do is they see the now.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see when you're in the grind and when you're struggling and
Mm-mm.
when you putting those long
Mm-mm.
hours in to work and buy
Mm-hmm.
that next house and to be up all night,
Yeah.
everybody at the club, everybody doing whatever they want to do, and you're either studying for your law firm or you're studying,
Yeah.
to start your firm, to go to med school,
Yeah.
and or starting your business. Like they don't see all
Yeah.
of that. They just see, oh my
They don't.
gosh, you got all this. Your kids got no, 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 no. You don't see what
Yeah.
I went through to achieve this. I had to
And
crawl
and
before I
see,
could walk. Like a baby, you got to crawl before you can walk.
literally crawl.
You crawling.
And before I moved to Chicago, the struggle was real. Like seriously, like my finances were in a real struggle, and I knew I had to take a step back. And I was working at the hospital in Beverly Hills, and my mom was like, "Well, you should just move back home." I'm like, "I've been down that gamut, taking the Metrolink and the bus and stuff all the way into LA every day or driving all the way. I just didn't have the patience for it. So I took a reset, and my friend was gracious enough, and I'm sleeping in her living room on a rollaway bed. Um, you know, just so I knew I had to restructure myself. I knew I had to restructure my finances. I knew I had to get back to a level that I was used to. And that's a good, people don't ever be ashamed to take a step back because people are going to say what they have to say. But
Yep.
if they ain't paying the bills for you, forget it. And, you know, everyone still thought I had all this going on and blah, 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 because I always hold my head up high and I never let issues affect me. But at the same time, it was like I was struggling and I knew I had to get to a point where I can start saving, start grasping stuff, start getting my credit back right, start paying things off. Um, and if dating and social life took a backseat to it, then so be it. I knew I had that goal. And so when I moved to Chicago too, like I still had that goal and that grind. And like I said earlier in the conversation, a lot of people didn't probably believe I said I was going to do what I was going to do, but then I showed them that I was going to do it. I was going to do everything that I ever asked God for. I have it, you know. And there's certain things. It's another level that He's taking me to now. And each level I go to, I appreciate where I'm at. And so, like even saying with my previous job, I was a management manager at this home infusion company, and I remember clear as day, like, God, what is it you want me to learn from this job? Like positions I'm qualified for, why am I not getting them? And one morning we were walking the dogs, and God showed me clearly as day. He's like, I have you in that job so I can show you how to even be a better manager and how to be better than anyone is to their employees. The, Either that same day or the following day, the job I got now, the gentleman called me back, and I had interviewed with him twice already.
Oh
And I was like,
wow.
forget this company. He called me and he was like, look, I'm going to hire you for this position. I want you to have it. So basically, I'm an area manager over Illinois, Indiana, and Wisconsin. He's like, I want you to have this position. You're going to have this position. And I was just like, okay. I wasn't tripping. I was like, if it's time, it's time. If it's not, it's not. And he called me like a week later. I had an interview with his boss. And then she called me the day later and was like, we want to offer you the position. I was like, cool. Deuces, you know what I mean? But I know that God had something better for me. And I just didn't know what it was. So I just kept striving and kept going and kept pushing. So you guys, if there's anything you want, just keep speaking it, because that brings it into fruition, regardless of what people say. Keep speaking it. Go for it. Find other people who have achieved that goal and ask them how did they achieve it. Everything's at our fingertips. Start looking up ways on the internet of how you can obtain it with what you have and what things that you need to do to set in place to get to that next point that you want to go to. So I'm getting off my soapbox.
It's okay. Manifest. Manifest is
Okay.
real.
Exactly. Manifest is definitely real because it puts you in the mind frame of I'm going after this. I'm getting this. This is what I want. So, but I don't want to keep you.
Okay.
I know you got the babies. I really appreciate you for coming on the show. I just thank you so much. Thank you guys, everybody,
Thank
for tuning
you.
in. Hope to see you soon. Thank you, Latoria, for all your great insight on financial wealth and stability. Again, you guys, I'm going to post all her information on the podcast once it is uploaded, so you guys can reach out to her directly. Other than that, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you. Happy